Tribal Health and Human Services Department of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes is proud to present Good Medicine, a program dedicated to the wellness of the Flathead Nation. The mission is summarized quite simply: a healthier people, a stronger nation. We will strive to make Good Medicine a reliable source of ideas and information about health issues so that everyone can make informed decisions about their own lifestyle and health care. You will meet health professionals, tribal government and spiritual leaders, and interesting people from the tribal community discussing important health issues that profoundly affect us all.
Well, gentlemen, that was a very interesting little tidbit coming through at the start. That was great.
Thanks. That's all David's work here.
Yeah, that was great. So tell me a little bit of how this all started.
Well, I'm going to introduce myself first. I'm Daniel Smith. I'm co-chair of the Flathead Lake International Cinemafest, or what we like to call FLIC. My other co-chair is Frank Tyro. He's the media director of SKC. And so we worked together along with our committee members this past year to come up with this festival. But it originally started, the idea back in 2012. The Greater Polson Community Foundation has a group called Envision Polson, and under Envision Polson is 8 action teams, and one of those teams is the year-round committee. And so it was their brainchild to come up with events throughout the year to entice people to come visit Polson, and out of that was born the film festival. And so now we're under the umbrella of the Polson Community Development Agency, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That was just great. I want to go this year.
I hope you do.
So what is the dates this year then?
This year it's January, it starts Friday, January 24th, and runs through Sunday, January 26th. We moved it up a week from last year because we butt up against the Super Bowl, and so people wanted us to make sure that we didn't conflict with the Super Bowl fans. But
that's funny, that's true.
We didn't think they were our target market, but it's okay. Now we're actually, we butt up against the last weekend of Sundance, so I don't know.
It's a toss-up, yeah. So I understand you have some special guests this year?
Yes, my name's David King. I'm serving as producer of the festival in the sense that it's my job to get all of the films up on the screen. And it's a bit of a project. I have, 70-something films?
79.
79
Wow.
films this year. And we're excited. We're going to be spilling over into 2 screens for several of our screening blocks. And on our opening night, we have a local filmmaker named Brooke, and I heard the last name is pronounced
Sweeney.
Sweeney. Yes, I always get names wrong, so I thought I'd get it from the source. But Brooke is the director of a film called OK Breathe Orally, or Orally, is how she pronounced it. And it's a really fine film, and she'll be there, and she'll be doing a Q&A session after the film. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it actually screened last year at Sundance, her short film. So
Yeah.
we're excited to have her be part of the program.
We have some just exceptional films this year. We also have Jeff Chiba Stearns returning. Last year, he was very popular in giving a presentation of several of his animated shorts and a feature. Well, this year, he's bringing some of the best animated short films in the world to the festival. So he
Wow.
has a session at 1:30 on Saturday. So we're very excited about that. It's a very diverse slate of films, and he's going to do a great job. We also have a film called Dakota 38. It's featured here, and it is a story, a documentary about a large group of Native Americans who take a 330-mile ride in the dead of winter through parts of South Dakota to Mankato, is that the name of it? Mankato, Minnesota, to commemorate or remember and honor the 38 Indians who were hanged in the largest mass execution in U.S. history. 38 were hung at one time. Wow. And this is a very, very moving, beautiful tribute to not only those people, but to the people who are honoring them, and to the relationship between them and the rest of the culture. So it's a very powerful film. We're looking forward to that. And we have a couple of people who are involved. Jim Miller, who had a visionary dream in 2005 and actually saw this hanging take place in his dream and came to learn about it after the fact, got this vision and dream of making this ride. It's just a very majestic, beautiful film. He and his wife, Alberta Ironcloud Miller, will be there to have a Q&A session after the film, and also wine and cheese afterwards.
Complimentary.
Yes.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Yeah, actually, the cheese is being donated by Flathead Lake Cheese, and they're a local company.
You can't go
Yeah.
wrong with their cheese.
Yeah.
Yep, local. Who doesn't love cheese? Then what other events then do you have planned for this year?
Well, we're very excited to kick off the festival with our opening party tribute to the Great Gatsby. So that begins Friday, January 24th, runs from 5 to 7:30. And yeah, again, it's a tribute to the Great Gatsby, so we encourage people to dress up in Roaring '20s attire. And following that, yeah, it's the introduction of Brooks' film and a question and answer period on Friday evening. Saturday is, of course, Dakota 38, which we just talked about, with the wine and cheese reception, complimentary. And then at 11 p.m., we're doing an after-hours meet and greet with the filmmakers. And we're going to have some producers and other film industry types. And that's going to be at the Lake Bar just off of Main Street there on Highway 93. And then, of course, we've got the best of and closing party on Sunday night from 5:30 to 6:30, where we're going to give out various awards for categories of best feature film, best short, let's see, we got best actor.
Best actor, actress, director, animated. So we're handing out several awards this year.
Including the People's Choice, which is important. We're going to ask attendees to vote on what they feel as the best film at the festival. And it'll be followed by a dessert reception.
And where is this going to take place?
Oh,
Your awards and
The closing party and award show is going to be at the theater, Showbox Cinemas.
Showboat.
Yep, Showboat. I keep saying Showbox.
The box is down the street.
I lived in Seattle and there was a Showbox theater, so yeah, I keep correcting myself too. Thank you for correcting me today. But
so then all your festivities like the wine and cheese, and I can't get beyond that, but on the wine and cheese, is that all going to be at the Cinemax?
the cinema, yeah, Showboat Cinema will,
Yeah, and I said Cinemax. How funny at the Showboat.
except for the opening party, it's at the Quatuknuk
Oh, okay.
Resort,
Okay.
Friday evening, so. Yeah, fun events. And I should mention also Jeff Chiba Stern's animated workshop that's following those animated films that he's showing from 1:30 to 3:30 on Saturday, January 25th. it's a must-see. That one's going to sell out for sure, so get online and get those tickets.
Be there, and we don't have overflow for that because Jeff can only be in one theater at a time, so that's an important one to get your tickets for.
So you'll be splitting the films between both of the theaters then?
Sometimes we'll be showing the same film simultaneously on two screens. In the case of Jeff's presentation, we have another screening block going on in the other theater. So.
And where can people get tickets?
Right now, you can purchase tickets online at our website, flicpolson.com. That's FLIC and POLSON. And once you purchase your tickets there, you can go to the Showboat Cinema and pick up the actual ticket, bring your receipt. Actually, they have a list of who's bought the ticket, so you don't really need your receipt. You can also get opening night party tickets at the Terrace Flowers and Gift Shop there on Main Street.
Okay, and that's separate than the film festival portion of it?
Right, that's Jerry is just selling the tickets to the opening party there, not the general movie tickets. All the general movie tickets will be sold at Showboat Cinema or online at flicpolson.com.
So can you give me a little, excuse me, give me a little list of what people can expect to be seeing then?
It is diverse. I'd like to start out with kind of an offbeat one called Hercules Recycled 2.0. It culls together clips from two Hercules films from 1958 and 1959. And I don't know if you've heard of Mystery Science 3000. It's a show in which some silhouetted characters poke fun at what's happening on the screen. Well, in this case, you've got characters injecting themselves into a Hercules film, creating their own storyline, and running with it. And these young men are just brilliant the way they pull this off. So that'll be our cult favorite, I think. That'll be a late Saturday night screening. And we have 10 people from Salt Lake doing a road trip, the filmmakers coming up here and getting rooms at the Quatucknuck, and they're just going to have a great time. So we're very excited about that.
Well,
if
that
you
sounds
like
fun.
offbeat, check that out. And then mainstream films like 88 Miles to Moscow, about a young woman who gets off a train to smoke a cigarette and misses the train and has to find her way back to the next stop. Her convict father is on the train. He's got a troubled past, and he's a heavy drinker. And she meets a young Russian guy who's a trash collector, and he helps her get back to the train. And we see it through the eyes of her telling her mother about the story and embellishing it so it's nothing like what really happened. So it's just a brilliant, brilliant film. Excited about that. The Heroes of Arvine Place is about an author who's trying to make a go of it with his children's book. He's a widower. He's trying to raise his two daughters. His struggles with dealing with a car that's breaking down and losing jobs, and just a lot of moving type stories like that. Cowtown Key Loco, about a guy of the same name who builds a western town and just lives this western lifestyle. He's in his 80s and still going strong. You saw in the promo a cowboy riding off into the distance on the last shot of the promo. That's him on his horse, hauling. We also have November Lichter, a film, a foreign film. I think it's German, as far as I can tell, based on the title. And as I watched the film, it sounded like they were speaking that. Austria, well, close. And it's a story that will just be haunting to people as they watch it, because it's about a young boy who is neglected by his family. His mother and father are divorced. The mother's too involved with her boyfriend, and the father's too involved with his work. And he just kind of gets swept aside and picked up by a child predator who wants to give him a ride across town. And it's just so well done. It's just brilliant filmmaking and scary. So those are just some examples of the types of fare we have, from long to short, from comical to very serious.
And all of those films have been nominated by our judges as a possible winner in several categories. So.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Must see. Can't miss those films.
Well, we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
Heads of state build their schedules around this annual cultural event. There's valet parking for a fleet of private jets. Other film festivals dispatch spies to learn where FLIC gets its mojo. The recipe is classified, the secret locked in a mountain vault. The Flathead Lake International Cinemafest, the most beautiful film festival in the world.
Hello and welcome back to Good Medicine. Now, just before the break, we were talking about the different films that are coming up. Can we expand a little more on some others?
Sure. There's one that I found particularly moving about a man who has a half hour to live. He's on death row for committing adultery in Iran.
Wow.
He's from England, and he's in Iran, and we meet him at the beginning of the last half hour of his life. So he is in great trauma and dealing with a few select people, including a guard who shows great compassion for him, gives him a cigarette. There's some really poignant, moving moments. Let's Go With God. That's going to be at 8 p.m. on Saturday the 25th in that screening block. Another animated short called A Ride Towards the Sea. And it's one of these stop motion things about a guy trying to get from his home to the ocean to free his goldfish. Brilliant, brilliant, very enjoyable. And we mentioned Dakota 38. That's going to be a primetime film on Saturday night. The Shoes, an animated film about some shoes. What goes on in the lives of the shoes in a woman's closet. And this is a woman with a lot of shoes. So these shoes, as soon as she leaves, talk about things, and they have their own social strata. Your tennis shoes are trying to, get cozy with the high heels, and they won't have anything to do with them. So that's a lot of fun. We have a feature-length film called Common Chord about a man who has a daughter he wants to help in the wake of losing their mother, but the daughter's grandfather wants nothing to do with the man and wants to raise the daughter instead. So there's a lot of family drama and starting out with a lot of clashing and then things coming together and working out. Those kinds of things. Just such a variety of films.
So I need to mention that we also have a junior competition under the umbrella of FLIC called FLIC Junior, and that's for young filmmakers 18 years and younger. And so part of our Saturday morning programming is all centered around FLIC Junior, and it's starting with a free screening of Despicable Me 2, a really great film. And we're going to offer a light breakfast, and again, it's free, and we encourage families or parents to bring their kids, and they can even come in their jammies and be comfortable.
So the breakfast was free, or the viewing is free?
Both.
Oh,
yeah,
both.
Free viewing and free breakfast.
Wow.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And then after that, we're following up with what we're calling an urban school block. And we had one filmmaking organization of young teenage kids in New York City submit a huge number of films. I think we're screening, 16 of them in this block?
Yes.
And I've seen them all, and they range from aspirational to public service announcements. And it's really fun to see what these kids come up with and to just get the feel of what is life like trying to make a go of it in New York City, in an urban school. So that's eye-opening and quite entertaining, and I would highly recommend that as some good viewing.
So how do you select the films that end up being viewed?
Well, Daniel receives one mail job after another, all kinds of big allotments of films, and then he gives them to the judges, myself and Mac Swan and Karen Lewing, who is with the Folsom Players, are the judges. And we watch all of the films, and then we get together and talk about them, and we argue and go back and forth, and then we decide, well, we really don't think this film should be in the festival. It doesn't seem right for Polson, or this is unwatchable. we cannot stand watching it. We figure, well, if we can't stand watching it, we probably shouldn't ask other people to. So the films that are in the festival have been gone through. We have 10 criteria, from acting to directing to story structure to sound, those kinds of things, and we rate each of those on a scale of 1 to 10. So it's a point-based scoring. And it's amazing to me the disparity between some of our scores. Sometimes Mac will think something is in the 60s, and I'll think it's in the 90s. I'll say, Mac, what's the matter with you? And then we'll turn it around, and Karen will argue each one of us is out of line at some point with the other two. And so there's no predictability to this. And it's obvious that we have just different tastes and different sensibilities about what works and what doesn't work. I was seduced by a film about a Cuban, and it's so beautiful, and the imagery is fantastic, and I love the narration. Mac couldn't have been less impressed. So, you know, it's a fun process, and I imagine it's like this at most festivals. When you have 3 people, you have 3 different ideas of what works and what doesn't.
So how do you get the films to you in advance?
Oh, well, yeah, we subscribe to a service or a website called Without a Box, and we pay a fee to announce our call for entries. And filmmakers from all over the world go to that site to see which film festivals are announcing their call for entries. And then if they're interested, then they submit a fee based on how long the film is, an entry fee. And they either send us an online screening of their film or a DVD so that our judges can evaluate them.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
It is, yeah.
And so where does your funding come from to be able to put all this on?
A variety of sources, but this year we were fortunate and thankful to receive a $7,500 grant from the Montana Tourism Office, and that's to be used for advertising outside a 100-mile radius of Polson. And so we figured the best way to advertise our festival was to produce this program. And it's an 8-pager this year. We've doubled it from last year. And we printed 126,000 of these.
Wow.
That have been inserted in newspapers across Montana, Billings Gazette, the local leader here, Bozeman, Helena, and doing advertising in Lethbridge, Canada, and doing some Facebook and online advertising in northern Idaho. So we're getting the word out there, and people are finding out about us. I'm getting calls and emails about people who want to attend, and they're making the trip over. And I just recently saw a couple just purchased all access passes from Bozeman. So
it's fantastic. We have a lot of local sponsors as well, local businesses who have really stepped up and been very helpful, a huge number, and they're all listed on the back of the program here, and we'll be crediting them at the party and at the theater as well. We're very grateful for them.
Yeah, for the last 2 years, the Greater Polson Community Foundation has supported us with a $2,500 grant, and we've had great support with Anderson Radio Broadcasting too, who is actually sponsoring our opening party, so we're really thankful to have their support. We couldn't do it without
all of these people.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, knowing the size of the showboat, is there a limit then? Are you only selling so many tickets, or?
Yeah, we have our website technician, and he's working in tandem with Becky Dupuy at the showboat to make sure that they don't oversell. So.
And we're doing the overflow into the second theater. Last year we ran out of space on opening night. We knew that was going to be a problem this year, so we're going to be screening simultaneously on the 2 screens. So that'll be helpful.
Nice. Yeah.
Another movie that comes to mind that I'd like to mention is 3 Mile Limit. Back in 1965 in Australia, you couldn't have a rock music radio station. It was just forbidden by the government. And there's these young men and their friends who want to start a radio station, and they decide, well, if they go into international waters, they could broadcast from a ship, from a boat. And it's a true story. So it's about their struggle to get the boat seaworthy, to get it out there and to start broadcasting. And they become so popular that the populace in Australia rallies around them, and the government gives in and lets them have a broadcast station on the mainland in Australia. It's just a really well done feature-length film, so that's another one we're looking forward to sharing.
Wow.
I just want to mention too that we're actually screening 79 films from 16 countries, and we have 42 world premieres. So that means it's the first time seen anywhere, and so we're really fortunate to be showing some of these films for the first time here at our festival. And so I really encourage everybody to come and support these filmmakers and support FLIC.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So let's go over the dates one more time to kind of let people know where they can get
You
their
bet.
tickets and when it starts.
It's starts Friday, January 24th, and runs through Sunday, January 26th. So festivities start at 5 p.m. on Friday, and then we end on Sunday night at 6:30. So yeah, 2.5 days of lots of film and fun. So they can purchase their tickets again online at flickpolson.com or call Showboat Cinema.
Remember, it's the most beautiful film festival in the world.
Oh, I should say, yeah, our screening blocks are like for 2 hours, and it's $5 for a 2-hour screen block, or you can buy an all-access pass for $80, which is a really great deal.
Okay, and that will get you everything. And what about the opening night tribute?
All the parties and all the screenings.
Because
$80.
you'd said earlier that was a separate ticket, so what is
Right.
so what is the cost of that?
That's
ticket?
$80. Yeah, for the for the opening.
The
That's,
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, that's $30.
Can't
by
even say that,
itself.
Gatsby. Yeah.
$30 for the opening night party, or $80 for an all-access pass.
Delicious food,
Okay.
and the entertainment is free because some of the people you're going to see are going to be amazing. I've heard about some of the things people are wearing. So we're looking forward to it.
Fun.
Actually,
Costume party, yay.
I went online last night and ordered mine, and I was emailing a person in England. I hope it gets here in time. So.
Oh, that just sounds like fun. So, is there anything else you'd like to add
Well, I'd
before
like
we
to mention a
close?
film called Ride the Sky. There was a young woman, I'm trying to remember her name, who was a parachutist. Her name is Joan Carson, and she died skydiving up in the Kalispell area. But there's this whole skydiving culture here in Montana, particularly up in that area. And it's a moving documentary about her life, people recounting what it was like to live with her and to go through the process of starting their own airfield where they did exclusively jumping. And so that's a local story that is quite interesting. And that's going to be airing Saturday afternoon in the 10 a.m. to noon time slot. Let me correct that. Saturday morning in the 10 a.m. to noon time slot. So I would recommend people see that as well.
I should mention one other thing too. In the opening night party, we had Steve Fetfight, who is the anchor man there at KECI. He's going to be emceeing the party, and we also are going to have a representative of the Montana Film Office as well. So come and meet those folks.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today.
Thank you.
And that will do it for this edition of Good Medicine.
Good Medicine is your program. We hope you watch this and subsequent programs to stay informed about your health care. And we'd like to hear from you about how we're doing. Please direct any comments or suggestions you have to us. You can reach us at